Tommy Carcone is union leader for the Utica Fire Department, and getting his take. Actually, you were giving your take yesterday, quite colorfully, on this UTV, this all-terrain vehicle, which was given to police. You feel that should have gone to the fire department, Tom?
No, that's correct.
All right. Tell me what happened and what you have a problem with here.
I just think it's a piece of equipment that's used for rescue, primarily over patrol. This is an issue for us, just in the fact that Rome has the same identical piece of apparatus, and they use it for rescue through their fire department. This was something during Storm Stella, which was referenced in this article, that the police would be able to use it during winter storms. We were actually shorthanded during Storm Stella with 23 guys, which is our regular minimum staffing, handling that storm. And our guys were stressed out. I mean, we were carrying patients 2-3 blocks in order to get them to an ambulance, sometimes up to 4 because streets were closed and plows weren't out at the beginning of the storm, the first day of it.
I think that is one of the elements of that storm that we forget about, is the difficulty that first responders, that fire and ambulance, the difficulty you guys had. There were streets you couldn't go down, but you had to go down those streets to get a victim.
And we were carrying them back on our backs or backboards or whatever we could find to get them to the ambulances that we needed to. We were shorthanded during that time. We did have additional staff come in, which was ultimately sent home by, at the time, Assistant Chief George Clark, due to overtime costs, which is disgraceful during a storm like that, in an emergency. We went on. We got through it. Our guys did a great job. Here they were carrying patients in 3 feet of snow, 4 feet of snow sometimes, on backboards or on their back to get them to an ambulance. And then we had to be prepared to fight fires also. But our guys did a great job. But the point of the story is during that incident, or during that storm, we had to call for mutual aid for that specific piece from an underlying volunteer agency. So they came in with the exact piece of apparatus that we purchased to work in our fire stations with their staff, because we don't have that equipment. Mm-hmm. And if that doesn't identify the need for the fire department to have that equipment, I don't know what does. And when the city purchases one, it goes to a park patrol detail. And quite frankly, I don't know how they're going to staff that or what they're going to utilize it for. We do have a Gator in an ATV vehicle, but it's not closed in on the sitting area, so it can't be used for winter. It doesn't have winter tracks for it. Now that's more fit for park patrol. Mm-hmm. And the equipment that they just purchased is definitely more for fire services and rescue during storms or extreme weather.
So I'm ask you, are you proposing a trade? Do you think trade? You think they would trade? Hey guys, take this for the park. We need that.
Absolutely not.
Tommy, who makes the?
I would love it if they did, and it would be appropriate if they did, but I know that won't be considered.
Who makes the decision on the purchase, and why wasn't it something that maybe was requested by the fire department or was given to them as opposed to the police?
This is done at higher levels. Unfortunately, they don't maintain labor management to discuss our needs and discuss our requests with the members of the department or representatives of those members.
Do you?
And it makes it difficult for that request to be made if you don't have a chief in the office to make those requests.
Right, and you feel that at this time, it's been so long. This is really creating a problem between the firefighters and management within the fire department, and ultimately with the city hall.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a revolving door in our leadership, and these are the things that slip through the cracks. I mean, who's going to be concerned with ordering equipment if you're there for 3 months? Who can work with labor management and establish something within 3 months, and then somebody else coming in with new ideas? Our guys do a great job of managing the department on the streets. Our guys could be on autopilot. They're all highly skilled. We're lucky to have the department that we have. And our Indians are doing the jobs, and we need a chief to lead and a stabilized chief to bring the other aspects and the administrative aspects of our department back to stability and possibly to the next level.
I have a listener question, somebody writing in. Would you, in an ultimate emergency, be able to utilize the Utica Police Department UTV? For I know that's kind of what Jeff asked, but specifically, if you made a request to the Utica Police Department on a call, say we need this, would you be able to use it?
Not if they're using it for patrol, unless somebody at Incident Command. I guess during Storm Stella, it wasn't the police or the fire that was in charge of that incident. I believe it was the DPW Commissioner, Dave Short, which I don't know what he has for qualifications as far as incident command and emergency situations, but that's who they put in charge last time. And I guess that would be his call during the emergency in order to switch that over to the appropriate usages.
And I should say, do you have a preference with when it comes to? I think you've endorsed. Have you endorsed Joe Marino?
That we have.
You have. So you feel that Joe Marino would be able to do a better job in this?
I believe Joe Marino will appoint a public safety commissioner as appropriate by our city charter, and somebody qualified to make the decisions during public safety issues. And that's not taking place right now.
So can I just ask one clear? Go ahead, Tom.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, just one clarification. Is this something the police department purchased with funds that they had, or is this something the city purchased and gave to the police department?
That I do not know.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
I think he was going to say one more thing.
You want to add to that, Tommy?
Well, we believe Joe will be good for our future. I think it's time for new leadership in the city. What do we pay taxes for? And that's for public safety, infrastructure, and schools. Obviously, schools are ran by the school board. We can't get too much into that. Infrastructure, everybody sees the streets. I don't think we need to get into that either. But as far as public safety goes, we're down 8 firefighters, 7 firefighters, I'm sorry. It would have been 8 if Joe Marino didn't step up and override a proposal by the mayor to take a 9th firefighter. But we're down about 8. The police are down about 13. Our taxes have skyrocketed. There's been 0% increases on election years. This year there was an actual return, and there's been no replenishment of services. And we want to see somebody that brings back those replenishment of services. We're still down an engine company in South Utica, and we're claiming surpluses, and we're giving tax returns now during elections, and it hasn't been a priority to bring back the services that have been cut under this administration. And that's the purpose of everybody's taxes, to be safe. And we need somebody that'll keep us safe.
Can you talk? Can you talk about what went on during that storm? And it was ironic. I believe there's a photo of the mayor driving this ATV. Is that true?
This new one,
this new one, yeah.
Rumors, but I can't confirm.
Well, there is, and does that surprise you? And the fact that the mayor was out in the position he was in during that storm. Can you comment on that from a public safety aspect?
I think it's picture time, and I think you saw the picture of him in the UTV also. I mean, that's like me presenting him with a plaque and then sitting behind the mayor's desk in his chair. I mean, he has, he shouldn't be in that equipment. He shouldn't be driving that equipment. The picture is not worth what could possibly happen if something went wrong. And that's all I have to say about that.
All right. David, do you have somebody that has a question on this, David? Yes? No?
It's just Heather Mowat, the budget director. She wants to make a point to Tom's about the purchase of the...
Okay, all right. Can I keep you on for this? Heather Mowat is on.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
Yep. Heather, you're on the radio. Good morning. You're on with Tommy Carcone.
Hi, Bill. It's Heather Mowat. I'm the budget director for the City of Utica. I was just listening to a couple of statements. I have a lot of respect for Tom Carcone and our fire department, but I just kind of wanted to set the record straight.
Okay.
So every year, the capital budget goes forward. The fire department, as an active part of that, they come forward with requests of what equipment they think is needed. The mayor, common council, review that, and then make a decision before borrowing commences. I think it was 2 years ago, money was set aside in the capital budget, which the council approved, for the ATV. To suggest that the ATV that's going to be patrolling in our parks would not respond when needed for a crisis mentioned by the fire department is just kind of silly, because the first thing the police department does is always back up the fire department. The fire department always backs up the police department of the city of Utica. So over the past couple of years, there's been several $1 million invested in equipment and buildings at the fire department. They still have a lot of needs. We're right now looking at the present year capital budget. The interim fire chief has provided that capital budget, which, by the way, was screened by his own deputy chiefs. They met several times to go over the needs of the fire department.
All right, I'd like Tommy to be able to respond to that.
Sure.
So, okay, Tom?
I'm glad you bring that up, Heather, because the lack of stability in our chief's decision, those chiefs make that request. We don't have an established chief to make those requests at this time. That's part of the failure of the Public Safety Commissioner at this time, by not making a stabilized chief to make the proper request to have the proper equipment with the proper department. And
I disagree, Tom, because you have several deputy chiefs.
Just let him finish, and then you can get the last word, Heather.
I appreciate your capital project discussions and all that, all the budget stuff. But in reality, those budget requests can't be made without a stabilized chief for 2.5 years. And when can somebody that has been separated from the job for 8 years, serving 3 months as chief, come in and identify our needs? It has been a failure. Even the mayor himself has said the fire department has been neglected for quite some time.
All right, I'd like to give Heather a chance. She's got 45 seconds to respond here.
Okay, I just want to mention, it wasn't the fire chief that made all the decisions on capital requests. It went through several deputy chiefs. I believe there's 5 or 6 of them. They all met on several occasions to go through what the needs are. It wasn't just one person that came forward. And then you had the mayor and the common council review that list at length over several meetings. So to suggest that one person is making decisions on spending in the city of Utica is just inaccurate.
Well, if you're going to ask our deputy chiefs, why don't you ask our firefighters? Because, quite frankly, they're not even the second in command at the fire department. We also have an assistant chief.
Just like everybody makes requests, and you went to those common council meetings, and I didn't hear you mention anything, Tommy. This is the first time on the radio when you're endorsing a candidate.
Well, I'm glad you're identifying that the breakdown of our command structure has been totally disassembled by our mayor currently.
I disagree. It doesn't show it in how you respond to the fires in our city. It doesn't show.
Command and fourth in command in our department.
Yeah, well, that's your opinion, and that's one of many.
Okay.
All right, guys. I'm going to. I think we've reached the end. Heather, thank you for calling in.
Okay, thank you.
Tommy, thank you as well. I appreciate the call. Thanks so much.
No, thanks for having me on.
All right, guys. And you take that conversation. It's up to the voters to decide.